What's going on, all you gamers? Here we are back with some more Outriders, and today I'm going to be going over a few mods that you can pretty much chuck into any build universally. So if you're at a bit of a loss, not sure what mod to chuck on your last slot, or you just want a few ideas, then stay tuned. That's coming up next. Welcome back all you guys and girls, as always, for all things gaming, for all things Xbox, and of course a lot more Outriders and a lot of the latest and greatest games coming out soon. Then why not hit that subscribe and bell icon. But for today you're here to find out a few mods that you may be able to chuck on your build to make it a little bit better. So we're going to jump over to Zahidi and see what's on option. The first one I'm going to mention, and just an absolute beast of a mod on pretty much nigh on any build where you want a little bit of mitigation, is Damage Absorber. Increases your armour by 52,659 and your resistance by 10%. This is such a good mod, so underrated, and you can chuck it on any build pretty much, just to give you a bit more viability and a bit more survivability. And speaking of survivability, we've also got this one just up here, Rejuvenation. With this, it's a bit of a hybrid one. It gives you a little bit of firepower, a little bit of anomaly, and it also boosts your armour. So Rejuvenation, receive 14,158 firepower, 7,005 anomaly power and 40,957 armour bonus for 8 seconds whenever your health is replenished, with a 10-second cooldown. Now obviously you have got a little cooldown, but honestly that's a really nice bonus, and it means you've got a lot of hybrid going on. Great for quite a few builds and pretty much good on all builds in general. Next up, and we're going to go with Adrenaline. This one right here is better in anomaly builds and builds where you use your skill power, but it does work on all builds because you will always be using your skills. So Adrenaline, whenever your health drops below 30%, all your skill cooldowns are reduced by 50%. That means that basically, if you're getting smashed about a little bit, you will have the chance to use your skills. Sometimes it will mean you'll have a bit more survivability if one of your skills, say for example was Golem, or sometimes it may mean that you'll be able to get a bit of extra damage at, or just use a skill when you need to. Very good in nigh on most builds, can give you a little bit of extra survivability and a bit of extra damage. A great all-round mod to use on a lot of builds. Next up, and another really easy to use mod, again really nice in hybrid builds, but of course whatever you want to chuck this on, it will still work in your favour, and that's Standing Tall. Receive 9,066 anomaly power and 12,871 firepower when out of cover for more than 5 seconds. Now obviously this game is time gated, meaning that pretty much at all times you will likely be out of cover. You're going to be running, you're going to be gunning, using your skill powers, you're going to be trying to make your way through the environment as fast as possible, meaning that this will be up almost permanent. A permanent buff of those two stats is really nice and can slot into pretty much any build. Next up, and a very fun and also versatile defensive mod, is Ice Trap. Whenever your health drops below 30%, freeze is inflicted on enemies within a 10-meter radius. This is on a 5-second cooldown, but to be perfectly honest, most times I think they're at about 3.5 seconds duration anyway, trapped in that freeze, meaning that a lot of times you can reapply it very often. Sometimes you'll find yourself just walking in and out amongst the smaller ads, taking them apart whenever you want to. Obviously some things may have a little bit of resistance that can factor in, but all in all this is an amazing mod to use in most builds and can really make things a lot easier. In that same vein, another defensive mod would be Perseverance Shield. If you want to have a shield, if you want a bit more survivability, this one right here, receive 8,875 points of shield whenever your health drops below 30% with a 5-second cooldown. Again, just makes you a bit more durable, gives you that chance to kind of get into cover or to make it through some of the content that would usually take you out, gives you a little bit of time to kind of get your bearings and get back into the fight. Or leave the fight and get back into it whenever you need to. This right here, Circle of Power, is just an absolutely amazing one for anyone that's really struggling against those big skill moves. If you've got a boss that's tearing you to pieces because you have no resistance, Circle of Power is definitely the best one I've found. Boosts your resistance by 15% every time you use a skill and stacks up to 3 times. These deteriorate every 7 seconds. Basically, as long as you're using those skills, you can have up to 45% resistance. If you're struggling against broodmothers or anything with those big air effects or skill moves going on, this right here may make your build a lot more viable and definitely make those encounters a lot easier. Now next up, and just one of the best mods in the game for taking out the tougher enemies, is Captain Hunter. Increases your damage against elites by 25%. There's a lot of elites in this game, there's a lot of things that take a lot more of a beating than they should, especially some of the bosses in CT15 and some of the elites. This right here makes them a lot more viable and makes it so that your damage goes up against them significantly. If you're struggling to kill elites, or you're struggling on bosses or some of the bigger enemies, Captain Hunter may well be one of the choices that's best in slot for yourself. And finally, the only weapon one that I'm going to go on about today, you've probably guessed it already, it's pretty much one of the best mods in the game. It's viable on pretty much any build due to how good it is, and that is Fortress. Receive up to 43% damage bonus based on your armour. This right here is pretty much the S tier of all kind of mods. It is amazing. If you can chuck it on your weapon, it will make your anomaly build absolutely amazing. If you haven't got an anomaly build, it also makes your normal build good. It works with firepower, it works with skill moves, it works with your melee. Every time you're using your moves, every time you're doing a bit of damage, you're going to be getting 43% extra bonus damage at endgame on that, and it's just going to make things jump through the roof. Mods, skills, firepower, whatever you're using, whatever you're doing, this right here can be used in conjunction with pretty much any build and just makes things a lot easier to clear. A great mod to have in pretty much any build. Right, all you gamers, hopefully that's given you a few ideas in case there's a few of you that were scratching your head, you want to try something but you couldn't think of anything offhand. Those right there can pretty much be used in most builds. If you've got another one you think I've missed something, chuck it in the comments, I'd love to hear from you all. But as always guys and girls, for all things gaming, for all things Xbox, take care, I'll see you on next day.